This is the Lifehacks Show.
Welcome to the Lifehacks Show. Lifehacks gives you proof hacks and tips for the best version of yourself. And here's your crash test dummy for a better life, Marcus Meurer.
I'm very happy to be here outside in the courtyard of the Co-Hub. It's one of the tropical co-working spaces in Thailand and one of the best co-working spaces I've ever been, to be honest. We are running this DNX camp now here since a week now. We just have 3 or 4 more days to go. It's awesome so far. And Robert's one of the participants, and I'm very happy to have him on the show. Welcome, Robert.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Robert, you are based in Singapore, but originally from the States, right?
Yes.
So what brought you to Singapore, and what do you like about Singapore? And I heard you want to move now, so why do you want to move somewhere else?
All right. So I'm originally from Miami, Florida in the United States, and my girlfriend at the time that I met, now my wife, we always wanted to explore Asia or explore the world and wanted to see more of the world than just Miami, our hometown. And we tried to figure out ways to do that. So we were initially going to move to South Korea to teach English. But at that time, there was a job opening in Singapore that my wife applied to. So she applied and she got the position. So it's a lot better location-wise to live in Singapore so we could travel around, which was our primary goal. And so we decided to do that, and we moved to Singapore.
Okay, cool. So you both met in Miami?
Yes. Yeah, we had mutual friends for a very long time, but we never crossed paths.
Yeah,
we went to the same university and everything, but it wasn't until 9 years later, 4 years after graduating, that we finally crossed paths. And when we met, we thought we were pretty cool, and we enjoyed hanging out with each other and been inseparable since.
Okay, now you're in Singapore, but preparing you moved to Chiang Mai, I think. Why is it Chiang Mai?
Yeah, so when I first moved to Asia, I wanted to pursue a digital nomad lifestyle. And
When was that?
I first thought about it in 2008. And 2009 is when I first tried to quit my job and leave to travel. But I used to work in finance, and I was in a high growth career track. And that my manager kind of made me feel bad for leaving. And I decided to stay for a few more years, tried that career path, but then realized that it just wasn't for me. I needed something else. So when I moved to Asia, specifically Singapore with my wife, that's when I started my entrepreneurship route to try to build something on my own, to live the lifestyle I wanted to live by. And then Singapore was an amazing place. It was an amazing opportunity to live there. It's extremely comfortable. The lifestyle is amazing.
The food is great.
The food is really, really good. You can find really cheap food and amazing international food. The restaurants are a bit more expensive, and drinking there is expensive, but everything else is so cheap to fly around and get around to other places. But Singapore wasn't the only place that we wanted to see. So we've been based there for 3 years, and I think it's gotten to a point in our lives and our relationship and our career path that we wanted to explore different places and move on to another area. So that's why we're moving away from Singapore this year and moving to Chiang Mai to start a digital nomad lifestyle.
So Chiang Mai is the #1 hotspot for digital nomads. Do you have an explanation why everybody is heading to Chiang Mai, and what are you expecting there?
I think I know why. I've been to Chiang Mai before, and it's just an amazing vibe. It's a great community. There's a mix of everything, of local Thai community, but at the same time an international flair, an international hub of people. And there's also that balance of lifestyle. You're able to work on what you want to work on, but there's also that spiritual aspect. If you want to do yoga, do meditation, be up in the mountains, or have fun, a night fun out, and you're able to do all those things at a relatively low cost of living. So it provides, when you're not focused on the monetary surviving, opportunities arise. Just like a wealthy person has more opportunities than a poor person, when you lower your cost of living, more opportunities arise in front of you.
And I think it's also a lot about the community and the like-minded people which are living more or less full-time, half-time of the year in Chiang Mai, because I'm also a strong believer in this saying, you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And as long as this community is missing and it's not there, it's very hard to grow and to bring your business on the next level, right?
Yeah, that's 100% true. I think that's where I've been stagnant in my career path. Is just being in Singapore, it was hard to find that community of like-minded people because everybody's so driven there. But in the career field, in finance and in attorney work or things like more professional work,
Very corporate, right?
Corporate and capitalistic style. And I think the digital nomad movement values different things. And to surround yourself with people that value the same things that you value in your life is what enables people to form that community, to build each other up and push each other to achieve more. So, yeah, it's definitely the value system that's a little bit different.
So, mentioning the value system for digital nomads, what is the system like for you specifically as a digital nomad? How do you feel your freedom that you get as a digital nomad? How do you use it?
I think digital nomad as a whole is just a very loose term that people use. I think nowadays everybody categorizes themselves as a digital nomad without really understanding what that means. And I think as long as people work online and travel, they feel they could call themselves a digital nomad.
That's very broad. I mean, we just see it in the last months. It will change, and there will be certain target groups, niche communities for every kind of digital nomad there. But we already see that there are the more money-driven people, then there are the more like soft skill orientated nomads.
Yeah, but I think that's true in any industry, and I think digital nomad is just a new industry that's emerging. So just like in banking, where I used to work in, there was amazing people that are very driven, that are focused on self-improvement and whatnot. But then there's other very shallow people that you don't want to work with. And I think in any particular industry, there's that huge range of people with different personality types. So I think it'll be the same in digital nomad lifestyle. But going back to the question about what are the values that I think specifically with today's evergreen digital nomads, the first ones that are out there doing it, I think it's a value of balance. I think it all comes down to balance, like that balance between work and life, and living a lifestyle that is not one or the other, but both at the same time. So having that time set aside to work on your projects in order to generate an income so you could survive and live a comfortable lifestyle, but at the same time making that time to set apart for yourselves, for your personal development, your personal growth, your mental growth, your physical growth, and being able to balance it too. And I think that's going to be a recurring theme that comes back, just balance.
Yeah, but also applies to me and my values, and I appreciate it so much to now have the time beside the business we are doing, to have the time to work on your personal growth, to work on your physical stuff, to do more sports, to think more about your environment, to try to do more sustainable stuff, just not to be too overwhelmed by the nitty tiny daily stuff you were used to need to do as an employee. And to be honest, I didn't have any clue or the big picture at all when I was an employee, what's going on in the world. But now I have the feeling I have a real big scope and understand what's going on and what has to be improved. And in combination with being an entrepreneur and have the freedom to start whatever project you want to start, I think this is a big opportunity, but also responsibility for for everyone in this emerging industry, how you call it, from digital nomads.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and I think that's it's a valid point in where this industry is heading.
Yeah. So in terms of business and money making, what are your actual projects you're running? And yeah, do you think you will stick to it, or is it like always in motion and it's about adapting? And
Yeah, so I think like most digital nomads, there's multiple projects that everyone's working on. But the main project is called, or main business is called Another Traveler. It's anothertraveler.com with one L. Well, if you put the two L's, it'll still take you to the main website. But it's basically creating video content for different companies, primarily tourism boards and travel companies. So hotels, travel operators, homeowners, that vacation rentals, the creative side of video content creation. Because nowadays in the digital age, more and more, as you know, is moving to video content. So we're focused on that. Additionally, with building our community, there's an application that we're working on the side, but that's more of a long-term project. But we're going to keep everyone updated on how that's going.
Great. So, what is the kind of equipment you're using when you're traveling? Because thinking of videographer in former times was always like, I think, huge luggage and lots of heavy weights. But it gets better, I think. So, what do you need to earn money and do your job on the road?
Well, in terms of what you need, you really need less than what you think you need, just like everything in life. And I think with technology, the equipment's getting such high quality that you could do a lot with very little. Just like with this podcast or with anything else. Like before, to do any computer work, you need a supercomputer in a room. Or videography, you need lights, you need tripods, you need 3 or 4 different cameras. And nowadays, just some people with just a point and shoot or a mirrorless camera or a traditional DSLR, you're able to do so many things. So yeah, we use tripods, point and shoots from DSLRs, GoPros, but most of the time, just whichever camera I have on me, it's usually the best one. But yeah, the main cameras are usually a point and shoot, a Canon, or a DSLR.
And did you also did some testings with drones? I heard that there are more and more countries that for now it's forbidden to use drones at all. I think it's very expensive, and then when they fall down, and you lose a lot of money. Do you have any experience with drones?
I've flown drones before. I've flown with them before, but I don't own a drone, so I don't use them for my purposes. I think at this point it's a nice to have, but it's an added tool that in the overall process, it's just one tool in the entire toolbox. It's not a necessity in order to create with, but you could create amazing, beautiful imagery and videos without a drone.
Yeah.
So I think it's all about the creative approach you use with the tools you have, as opposed to focusing on the tools before the creative process. And that's what sets some people apart.
Yeah, I think this is a tendency you see when something new is popping up, a new technology. It tends to be over-evaluated because everybody's so excited about it. But at the end, if you compare it to other footage you take with other devices, it's not always the better thing.
Yeah, but going back to the concept of balance, I think it's the same thing. It's like even when creating a business or a viable business plan, you first always think of what is it that I need. And you come up with all these crazy ideas of what you need before you can actually start this business. But in reality, you don't need much. You just come up with the MVP, your minimal viable product, and just run with it and just see what happens. And getting all in this caught up of I need this before I could do this it's a really bad mindset.
Yeah, but I think many people are into this mindset. Even us, Philly and me, were in the beginning, after long years in the corporate life, we were thinking of like, okay, we need a proper business plan, which is probably not the worst thing to have, but we need lots of money. We need the best equipment in the world. We need big business. We need lots of business cards. We need a long job title. We need this and that, but we forgot to start something.
Yeah, and I think it's a common mindset that everyone's in, including myself. I always think I need more before I could do something, and it's a constant struggle that we all have to overcome every single time we try something new. And once we start doing, we realize that we actually can do this with less than what we actually have.
Yeah.
And once you start doing it, then you realize that you don't really need that drone, or you don't really need all those business cards, or you don't really need a business plan. Yeah, some of them are kind of prerequisites and you do need to work on them, but you have to figure out what is it that you actually need versus the things that you actually think you just want.
And what do you think, where does it come from that many people are conditioned like this?
It might just be the way we've been brought up. I think and then it's also like an innate nature of just human beings that we crave information. We want to know more. We want to know more and more and more and more about it before actually doing something. Some people, that's a bigger struggle than other people. Some people just do.
And what do you think? Why can they just do and other people just can't?
I think everybody struggles with both to some degree.
Definitely.
It's not that one person only struggles with only doing and never analyzing, and the other person only struggles with analyzing all the time and never doing. I think both are traits that every one of us struggle with. And it's, again, come back to the concept of balance, is balancing the two.
Mm-hmm.
And being in the right mindset to realize when you're leaning one way or the other, and bringing yourself back to the middle in order to achieve your goals.
And I think what helps is being surrounded by like-minded people, the thing we just had, or living together like here in the camp and see like other successful entrepreneurs struggling with the same topics, or when I speak to like really big DNX speakers we had already on the stage, like Derek Sievers or Mark Manson, and if you talk to these guys, they have the same problems, issues starting something, and they have the same pain and are afraid of what's people gonna think about the next blog post still after years.
Yeah, it's a constant struggle. No matter how big or how small you're starting, you're always gonna this issue is always gonna come back up. It's just gonna manifest itself in different ways, in different avenues, in different places. So it might show up in your business or your relationship or your personal growth or your relationship with your family, your friends. I mean, it's gonna reappear itself over and over again, and it's just a constant battle to remind yourself the lessons that you learned before and apply it to this new situation.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. The lessons you learned before. I think the more you do it and the more you stretch your comfort zone, it will get easier, but it will never be like, okay, I will launch that new project.
Yeah, like I was talking to somebody yesterday, and he's very business minded. He does amazing things business oriented, but he struggles with relationships. And he couldn't figure out why. And while talking to him, we kind of reapplied everything that he teaches other people in order how to succeed with business, and just reapplied that in the same way, context that he would apply to his business mentoree. And we apply it in a relationship setting. And we realize that all of the things that he teaches to be successful in a business are the same things you need to be successful in a relationship. And it's just reapplying the same lessons to a new situation.
Mm-hmm. And did you have any more like eye-openers in the last days on the camp, being surrounded by so many people all working in the same industry but on different projects, businesses, different backgrounds, different nationalities?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway is knowing that you really need to surround yourself by people that motivate you, that inspire you to push yourself forward, and keep building those connections, those relationships, because at the end of the day, that's one thing that we crave all as human beings is relationship and acceptance with each other and the people we hang around with. So continuously doing the things that you need to do every day in order to reach your end goals in the long term starts with doing what you need to do today in order to reach your goals and surround yourself with positive people today.
And what we also see, Feli and me, is like having a big online reach and having many connections via Facebook or online or email or Skype. Nothing substitutes the real world, meeting real people, meeting someone for the first time and seeing each other in the eyes. This is why we love to run these conferences, to love these real world events, even when some people still don't get it, and we got some, I don't know, some jokes about us. So yeah, you guys are digital nomads, and then you make events where everybody has to be at the same place at the same time. It doesn't make any sense, but for us, it makes huge sense doing these events.
Yeah, I think it's just facilitating different avenues in order to deepen relationships. So you have many followers online and you have a huge community online, but how deep are those connections with those people? So I think we grow personally and professionally when those relationships are in depth. So creating these conferences in order to meet in person is just a way to deepen that relationship with those people that you want connections with. And then the DNX camp is just an additional way to do that. The conference is 1 or 2 days, and the DNX camp is 10 days. So instead of trying to deepen a relationship within a couple hours of meeting hundreds of people in 1 day, you have a more intimate setting over 10 days with a smaller group in order to actually create a more meaningful, deeper relationship with them. And I think that's all life is about. It's the relationships you build and making sure that they are deep and not just superficial.
And do you see any special advantages or disadvantages coming from a Westerner culture like you from the States and now connecting with people from Europe or meeting other people? They are the first Thai digital nomads. Do you think there is a certain background or culture helps to get started into this digital nomad life, whatever it is?
I don't necessarily think that one culture has advantage over another in whatever they want to pursue. I think the cultural upbringings do bring out different qualities in people and or habits that might be harder for one culture to overcome than another culture to overcome. But at the same time, I feel no matter where you brought up, whether from Germany or the US or Thailand, we all have our own issues that we struggle with. It's just because it's different than someone else doesn't mean it's harder or easier than someone else's problems or issues. We all need to overcome it, and we are trying to figure out ways to do that. But again, every person's issue or struggles are personal and individual to them. So even though it might be similar, but the solutions are usually always similar. That's one thing. But the issues are different.
But I think what is a good opportunity or great opportunity for us, like the nomad community, is that we have so many different backgrounds and cultures involved, and whenever we share just our issues, challenges, and also the knowledge, it will bring us way quicker to a solution or to way to handle something or even to solve a problem.
Yeah, I really agree with that too, because I'm a huge fan, or I'm always intrigued by this concept of perspective. And perspective is a lot more than what we give it. Is all of our upbringing, all of our experiences in life creates our perspective today. And understanding someone else's perspective, even if they've seen the same situation, and changing your mindset and accepting someone else's perspective is where growth happens. And having so many people from different backgrounds, different experiences, different upbringings, and different scenarios and struggles helps you see more perspectives and understand more.
The thing I was talking about, like getting the bigger scope and soften yourself with your I don't know, your believings before you had, which are somehow very narrowed to a certain thing, and then just being open for anyone who's sitting here in Cohab and all the knowledge, and yeah, just love it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to touch on. Is like when you're in your hometown or you stay within like a certain community, your perspectives, like you said, is very narrow.
Yeah.
And meeting other people with so many different perspectives, your world just opens up. You think of things differently, or you think of groups differently, or countries differently, or religions differently. And it's just adding that new perspective into your own experiences, into your own library of thoughts is what expands your mind, expands your beliefs, expands what you're comfortable with and what you're uncomfortable with. So interacting with so many people, yeah, it opens your mind. It changes you, and it helps you grow.
Cool. Yeah, Robert, thanks for your time. What are your next steps? When will you be in Chiang Mai? If anyone wants to connect with you, we will put your project and the URL of your businesses in the show notes. When are you in Chiang Mai?
Yeah, so I'll be moving to Chiang Mai in May. So I'll be there for at least 2 months. Right now is the plan, but like you said, digital nomad style, there's no plans until you actually do it. But you can find me. My website's anothertraveler.com. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook is all Another Traveler. Snapchat as well, Another Traveler. Follow me.
How do you run all these social media channels? We are always struggling.
Automation. I love automation, but you have to focus on a couple of some, and some of them is similar content, but then prioritize some special content for each different platform, because each one is very different. So you want to use them properly.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we put all the social media links also in the show notes, and yeah, thanks again, Robert, for your time.
No worries. Thanks. I really appreciate being on.
Yeah. And peace and out. Yes, yo. This was another episode of the Life Hacks Show. If you love what you're listening to and can use some of the tools and hacks we are sharing on the Life Hacks Show, I would be more than happy if you can give me a review or rating on iTunes. Follow me on facebook.com/Meurer Marcus and just ping me and give me some feedback. That would mean the world to me. So long, have fun, peace and out.